Good evening and namaste, everybody. Here is our activated altar for you all this evening. We have just spent the last few moments, minutes, hour activating and preparing. So we want to welcome you this evening to the full strawberry moon and lunar eclipse ceremony for healing, for clarity in our current system, and for justice for everybody. And what holding space means and activating means, as soon as you tune in to this altar that we've got here, and we're going to explain it in just a moment, that you are connected with the healing. So if you don't have some of the spices or candles or incenses at your home, that is okay. Just you tuning in and feeling our open energy of love and light and access, you can release towards your screen and release towards these candles any of your negativity and imagine it burning away. If you're at your own home and you'd like to write a list of anything that no longer serves you or things that are bothering you and you'd just like to release, write a piece of paper down. And if you have your own proper way to burn that, you can burn that physically as well. So the herbs that we are talking about really aren't anything super interesting. Well, yes, they are super interesting. That's a big voodoo hoodoo. So white sage, if you have it, Palo Santo, if you have it. That's not an herb, but that's okay. And I had a list in an herbal bath, and if you have any of that stuff, that's wonderful. If not, this is what I have, and it's called Prayer Mix. And it's some sage and some tobacco and some various little flowers and herbs around my yard. And I've just blessed it and activated it through a prayer that I have learned. And so this is the herbs that we are going to use this evening. And so anything that you have, lavender, mugwort, basil, bay leaf, anything that you have found through the article that I had put out earlier for the Mexican Limpia full moon bath, that's a lot of the herbs that kind of go through the entire spiritual world, whether it's hoodoo, voodoo, Celtic, Wiccan, Reiki. Herbs are herbs, and they all hold within the same healing properties. So this is our running altar, so I usually have my selenite, and I'll change my crystals, but we still have our selenite, which is a spiritual activator, and our purple fluorite, which is really good for a lot of very various things, and hurt and depression is one of them. With that being said, we've not fully activated it because Ken is going to finish activating the little candles there with you guys here, and then tell us about our 3 cards. Now, normally we do not do tarot, but in this instant, when we are dealing with so much negativity that is drawn from the shadow world, that is what the tarot is working with, is shadow world. So with that being said, with this evening, we have pulled out specific cards, and Kenna is I'm going to pull back a little bit so she can finish lighting the candles, and I'll come in close to the card while she explains if she gets to that point.
Okay, so to walk you through what I've set up on the altar, I have actually brought out one of our wishing rocks from when we went to the ocean. He's over here, and he's just going to help amplify the healing, and as you can see, he's got a double loop, which means that he's extra special. Wishing rocks are really excellent for when you want to do some work and you want to make a wish, and this one has 2 wishes you can make on it, which I think we're going to be using up tonight, and so he'll be doing his job.
And what makes it a wish rock is that you see that white line when it circles completely all the way around. That makes the 1 loop wish, and what makes it a double loop is you can see there's a whole nother one that goes around the side. You can find those on the beach, especially here in California.
Yeah, we've got some black salt from my room.
Black salt
on my altar.
is to help combat negativity, demonic activity, and anything negative. It's good for cleansing and protection.
I was going to pull out moon water, but I have this activated sound bowl water.
And what that is she put a bunch of water in a sound bowl and did a personal sound bath. And when you do that, the frequencies charge the water and give it its own kind of we'll
Vibration.
say vibration or magical properties.
This is from our biggest bowl too, so this one has extra
and
grounding.
and the biggest bowl is the sacral chakra. Sorry, the root chakra,
chakra,
excuse me. And that's obviously our grounding chakra. That's really going to keep us feeling safe and protected and grounded.
And that's all I've added here. What we have also, these 2 blue candles. Blue is a candle for justice in general, and I have a darker blue and a lighter blue, which I grabbed by intention. I was going to do orange candles and a silver candle,
Okay.
since that is usually what you would use in this situation, but since we're eclectic and we do most things by intention, these are the candles we ended up with. Moving on to our cards, I have Justice here in the middle. So this is our main card because we are trying to promote a more just system that is not so...
Let's not get a glare on that so everybody can kind of
See
pull
it?
that up again.
Okay.
So everybody can kind of tune into that right there.
So here's our Justice card.
And this tarot that we're using is the Egyptian tarot. So that looks like Cleopatra, but anyway, there's our Justice card. So she's pulled that out for
Justice.
justice.
As you can imagine.
As you can imagine. So let's all just take a moment to breathe and focus on the justice in the world and helping that come to terms.
And as you
and-
notice, our smoke is enveloping it, so just really...
Really feel about
that.
cleansing the negativity through the justice system. That's what the smoke, when you do smoke and candle work. So the smoke enveloping across her, of course it could be blowing any which direction, and that's why it can come to the explanation part. See, it's
No,
right
it's
now,
not
it's
going.
actually going somewhere else. But imagine that cleansing the justice system and the injustice that's happening right now.
This is our main card here, so this will be the leader.
And hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Okay, what's
Moving
next,
on
baby?
to our left. I was just moving that one.
Yep, let's go
We've
this
got
way.
Judgment.
And Judgment, obviously, that's a really good card right now because we need some help.
Absolutely. Prejudices, how people are treating other people based on judgment, whether that be protesters, rioters, or the police and military men that have been called in. And this will be on the right-hand side because it is a very important part of this healing tonight.
And we all know if you're my right-hand man, right? We've heard that before, so we want our right-hand man. And our right-hand man to justice is going to be the Judgment card. So let's all really just focus on that for a moment, about helping people and their judgment, their own judgment and frame of thinking, as well as helping the judgment in the justice system and everything, and judging those correctly,
Absolutely.
giving the right prosecutions for the right people. That's going to be proper judgment. So that's a really good one. So let's focus on that. Nice deep breaths while you're kind of just working through all this. We're just activating still and getting you guys in tune.
Queen's chair, as I'll say, we've got temperance. Temperance is another word for calm. Like when the sea is temperate or the weather is temperate, it's very mild, very non-extreme, very just mellow. And I think that during these times right now, temperance is very important to have people understand and have this in their hearts, some temperance. And I don't know what it's supposed to mean in the tarot world, but that's what this card means to me right now, and that's all that matters.
So, because again, I'll repeat, since Ken and I do not do tarot work, I keep these cards around for negative times because that accesses those kind of areas. So there are real tarot meanings for these cards, but we are not jumping into that. We have picked these cards out of intention for the actual literal style of meaning that is written upon that card. So for those of you in our beautiful spiritual world that knows that there's more meanings to that, please, we understand that. We're going to keep that kind of a little bit light for tonight because we want to keep everything light and in love. That's the whole point. And for as silly as that may or may not sound, it's not, because if you can generate love and gratitude in your heart, you have then love and gratitude to think and deal and work with other people. And if you really truly love yourself, then you do care about other humans and other breathing life forms like animals and and our Mother Earth and stuff. So for those that are very psychological, it seems silly to do some of this stuff. But in reality, what it does is it really focuses your mind and your emotions into a little bit more clarity, because sometimes those of us need a little bit more than sitting on Sundays for an hour or two, and sometimes those people cannot give the other answers to some of these questions, and so then some of us turn to finding other things. So this is spirituality, and like we warned before, this is going to be a little bit off. This is a ceremony that normally all of us people do
Very
privately. We have chosen to extend this on our live stream with you all tonight because of what's going on. The spiritual community has called all of us that do this wonderful work of accessing other realms and other forms of I'll just call it magic. Why not, huh? Other forms of healing. Like, we'll put it in this way, for those of all of us that have been raised Christian, which I have been, prayer circles, right? Prayer chains. So this is the same concept. This is our way of praying in a louder, more direct focus and intent. And so it goes beyond the Christianity, because we're going to be using stuff that normally we don't usually typically access. But do not get me wrong. We are all in love and light here. We do not access anything negative, and we always invoke Jesus because he is the ultimate lover. And so if you cannot unconditionally love and have the master ascended teacher teach you that, then you kind of aren't getting the point. So whether you are Christian or whether you are not, this is kind of just like, how do you access it if praying is just not enough excitement for you, is what I'll put it. Because I'm a little bit eclectic, and as you'll see, hold on, we need some, can you see? We're a little bit eclectic, and maybe sitting in church praying isn't going to make it work. So anyway, no, why are we dressed up? Normally, those of us that do spiritual work, or AKA healing work, often access our own culture. So for those of us that are of Nordic and Germanic culture, that would be a little bit more medieval and Celtic style, with some of our Celtic face painting. For those of you that might be from another culture, you would have your spiritual dress, or maybe your warrior dress of what your warriors looked like. Native Americans, or way back in the day when you sent your warriors out. So because we're doing kind of like a healing and justice, we want it to be a little bit dainty and girly for the beautiful, loving realm, but we also wanted to be a little bit fierce for really socking it to the negativity that's going on. So like we said, you usually want to get dressed up for your ceremonies like you would getting dressed up to go to church. So here we are in our wonderful outfits. We have done the beginning of the ceremony, opening up the healing and the altar for you. Kenna's going to continue to light the candles, and then we are going to take you through an actual kind of a ceremony of cleansing and stuff. The healing part. Yes, we're not keeping you in for the... Oh, well, see, Cindy, if you are Italian or Irish, you can... now, I'm going to be very clear. We are eclectic, and eclectic means, or universal means, you take a collection from all cultures and you mesh them into one. So for my answer to you, Cindy, if you wanted to mesh the herbal magic, or the old wives' tales of, what grandma, how grandma would kiss your boo-boos, or, that's Reiki. Kissing your boo-boo and making your boo-boo feel better, that loving, healing kiss, that's what Reiki is. So that's the concept of that. So whatever your culture or a muddle of cultures healing techniques are, that would be what you would want to develop. If you were drawn to a certain culture more than your own, or say you are more drawn to the Italian or the Irish side, then I would suggest that you formulate maybe some of your your altar ideas or some of your dress to what pulls to you a little bit more. Now, I have a couple different outfits because when I do a little bit more, when I do crossover work during Halloween, I will often wear black. When we do crossover work during Easter, we will often wear white. And when we do more Native American stuff, we will be dressed a little bit more Native American. So for us, we will have several different outfits or ceremony costumes to participate, to access that culture more. And that's kind of the point, is when you can connect with that culture as heavily as you can, whether it's your own or somebody else's, the more of that culture you embrace, the more of the magic you will pull in. So I hope that answers your question just a little bit, because that would be pretty interesting. The Italians have a lot of herbal and what I'll say old wives' tales healing. So and obviously the beautiful decorative fabrics come out of there. So I'm sure there's something that the healers. Oh, and here's the thing. If we're from cultures that are more modern and new aged, we're not going to have this wonderful cultural looking outfit. But think about if you're German roots and you see Germans wearing lederhosen and a dirndl dress, okay? So that would be their culture. So then you would think about what their healers would wear. Or you think back, like, obviously, if I'm Celtic and Nordic, that's not necessarily a culture now. So what would I have worn if I was back in the Celtic age? And that's why we have the medieval style little Celtic dresses like this, because it kind of like emulates a little bit more of that. Now, if you feel more warrior, maybe you want to be more of a warrior. So maybe you're full of fur and leather and you've got more of like a staff or more of like a warrior style, you know. Or if you want to be a little bit more light and love and you feel more dainty, maybe you feel more like a fairy or you know, like one of these little wench maid dresses or whatever. Or say that you're from another culture and you actually have a medicine man or a shaman that has a cultural style of outfit, that would kind of be what you would want to wear when you are invoking the rituals. And with that being said, don't ever start or read a book and try to do things on your own. You always want to find a mentor and explicitly study things until you feel completely comfortable, because you can have some stuff go wrong. And I'll be very, very honest about that. And that is why we're not going to involve you in the opening and the closing of the ceremony, because that's the parts where if you're not taught in certain traditions, you are vulnerable to other people's release or other people's negativities attaching to you. So when you can skip that part, you just receive the healing bits. But there's a whole 2-hour ceremony here, but you only get a little bit of it. So enough talking. And I love garlic in my ears. It's really good for earaches and other things. All right, are you going to
Yes, I'm
light our
ready.
candle? She is ready. So since she is ready, I'm going to do like what we do in our sound baths, and I'm going to set you up.
And this is the lovely part where I get to take control and lead you through things, because this is my time.
And also, let's not be too spooky. Why are we here in the dark in the candlelight? Well, again,
It's romantic.
no. We're doing a full moon ceremony, and we've opened all the windows so that we can let the moon in. And so, of course, we wouldn't want to disrupt all that wonderful moonlight with light. So that's why we're all spooky, and that's why people think that people dancing naked in the woods is weird, because they're dancing naked and they don't want lights. So, that's where all this funny stuff comes from, and we all know it's a little bit weird. But here's the thing. There's one thing I've learned in my years of healing, and the biggest thing of it is, and also from my Opa, the biggest thing is this: you are your age, so feel like a child and you'll be a child forever. So whether this is just silly or whether we believe in it or whatever, it actually doesn't matter, because the point of this is we're having fun, and creating gratitude is actually part of healing. So whether you think we're full of poop and we're just having a heck of a time and you want to laugh and giggle at our weirdness and our chants, that's okay. That still creates gratitude with you.
Absolutely.
If you are actually part of this and you believe in this, I want you to really tune in, because what we're doing here is we are going to connect with the global frequency of healing tonight to get through this, not just the civilian side of things, but also the healing, the virus and everything that's going on, everything, okay? So with that being said, no longer ado, here's Miss Kennedy to finish the part of the healing ceremony that we are bringing you in on. And this whole time, our altar has been open and holding space. So as long as you've been listening to us and just breathing and tapping in, you already are connecting. And we are available to remove the things. So if you just imagine things going into that candle and burning, that's what it's for, okay? All right, Kenna, go ahead.
All right. This space is sealed with divine love and light, and only those with goodwill may enter. Now, as I bless this altar, I'm going to do a card reading so that the frequencies can align here with our altar, and we can also get some insight as to how to heal ourselves and others in the world. With that, I'm going to get here my self-help cards. Priorities. Get your priorities straight. Playfulness. Play with a child. Peace. Embrace your confusion. Release. Have a good cry. Help. Ask for help. I offer this water so that the pain may be washed away. I offer this salt so that all negativity can be cleared. I light these candles to burn away the fear and pain. And I offer these flowers to bring peace and calmness to those who need it. As this altar is blessed, accept it into your heart and send the love and gratitude out into the moonlight and let it wash over the plains. The divine light is sparkling down upon you and upon others, and as it washes over your face, feel calm. Peace for the protesters, for temperance, for those who feel the need to break in and steal things, and for good judgment upon those who have to serve and protect us. The system is not perfect, but through this we can make it right. As it is above, so it will be below. burned away now, and as the flame of this candle rises and takes it all within itself, may all the pain that these people have suffered and will suffer be washed away so it is no longer. The white candle stands as the most clear conscience, untouched by those around it. May everyone be like this candle, pure, light, and unsullied by those around them. This is the true way to justice. This is the true way to temperance. And this is the only way to have clear judgment. The blue candles stand as a way to clear, wash, and re-energize those who need it most. The smoke cleanses all the pain in the past, the present, and the future. And it is a simple smoke and flame that I ask to bring peace upon the world, and especially here now when we need it most, to maintain peace and wash peace over those who need it the most right now, who stand in the front lines on both sides, and may their judgment be clear and their hearts strong for what is right. Tonight on the full moon, during this eclipse, as humble healers on this realm, we ask that all the incantations, prayers, thoughts, silent or spoken, from all those who want change and have hope to come true and be a reality. And may these hard times pass, and with them comes change that is much needed. this bone was once part of an animal. May it also symbolize a small part of our history. Though it is much needed, it will not be missed. As it is above, so it will be below, so let it be.
So mote it be. As you hear the bell toll and ring, just imagine everything negative that no longer serves you, any feelings, prejudgments, implants from growing up, from thoughts that might not ever have been yours in the first place that you're dealing with now. Feel all those removing from you right now. Imagine them being released from you and being burned away so as to never come back to you. Feel the love and the light of the sun and of the candles filling you with love and light and harmony, Christ light, of love and of peace and of joy, of healing, of caring, truly caring about your other humans, your Mother Earth, your Father Heaven, and all of the animals and the creatures of the world. Know that every full moon, that you can take time to look at that full moon and light a candle and just breathe. And breathe out anything negative and breathe in everything positive. New beginnings, new changes, new jobs, new love. Feel the healing and the cleansing, and feel the earth's vibration changing as all of us healers connect together tonight to change the vibration to one of love and light and healing. As you hear the gong ring, start to take some nice deep breaths. Feel your mind and your body and your life feeling lighter and clearer. Feel the thoughts of love and prosperity and justice start to fill your heart. Start to feel your body and feel the room that you're in. Feel the pressure points underneath your body. Flutter your eyes open. Start to stretch around. And know that you have let go anything that no longer serves you, and that you were part of a healing ceremony tonight to try to help the earth's vibration change and heal everything that we needed to do. Go ahead and know that when you finish this live stream, that everything has been removed from you permanently and burnt away, and only love and light remains for you. And that you can wake up tomorrow feeling refreshed and new and whole and ready to take on anything that we have coming up into our life. Okay, we love you guys very, very, very much. And we thank you very much for joining us on this wonderful full moon ceremony. And we appreciate you taking your time to see what healers do when they are doing little ceremonies. And we appreciate you. Namaste. And we're going to finish the rest of our ceremony in private. And we love you very much. And we will see you on Wednesday for your sound bath. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy full moon.